When you run into regulatory hassles, what's their major complaint? Like, what is the what's preventing this from happening?
Okay, all right. So, and this goes back to the congressional study that laid this out. There's two components to this. Bureaucracies are by definition the institutionalized suspension of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think.
They don't want to make a decision. Yeah.
Okay. Who eats lunch and who is lunch illustrates the violent nature of life. To minimize violence from war and crimes, we grant governments a monopoly to coerce compliance with law to minimize crimes and war. Innovation is a compliance failure. So if governments control a sector of the economy, you see a century of rotary telephones and a century with the 25 mile per gallon efficiency of a Model T.
That's the quote of the day. Innovation is a compliance failure. I love that.
So if we want innovation, all right, so think, this goes back to this definition of liberty. Our definition is around commercial is it's two aspects of liberty intertwine to create the general welfare. It is tolerance of disruptive minorities offering choices. And there is no minority as tiny and disruptive as commercial innovators. Ford, Edison, Bell, the Wright brothers, Jobs, you can count them on your hand, okay? Then the other aspect is tolerance of people acting in their own self-interest to sort those choices in free markets and free speech. And it is a ruthless Darwinian crucible free markets are. They don't care how many hours you work. They don't care about anything. They only care about their own self-interest. But a good book to read, I have a whole reading list. I'll send you guys a link to our recipe. My reading list is spectacular. But The Wisdom of Crowds is on this. And it underscores how we aren't just, so there's two aspects of democracy that are, democracy is the essential and flawed tool. So think of it like a yin and yang. Is the wisdom of the many is the brilliant aspect of democracy. We, as acting in our own self-interest, are brilliant at sorting. The defect of democracy is tyranny of the majority. So we had a tyranny of the majority with Parliament not granting the British citizens in America the taxation without representation, and it triggered a war. We had slavery and the not granting of Black Americans equal justice, and that was a tyranny of the majority, and it triggered another war. Climate change and the coming oil famine are all consequences of us voting ourselves benefits at the expense of children. So posterity is being sacrificed to a tyranny of the majority again. And so we got to get so that we really get disciplined about being self-disciplined to be energy self-reliant.